Okay, showtime.
Good evening. This is meeting of the Saugus Board of Appeals. First thing I'd like to do is salute the flag, led by Mr. John Cannon. Please stand if you're able to do so.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to introduce our board members. Tonight, at this point, we have 4 members. We're a usual board of 5, but a couple called in with other obligations. We have Mr. Peter Rossetti, Mr. Chris Riley, Mr. John Cannon, and myself, Tom Travis. We hope to be joined by our new alternate, Jeff Moretti, but I don't see him yet. Okay? I think I know, I told him we were here. The way we normally conduct our hearing is generally informal. We will follow the agenda as it appears in the newspaper advertisement. If anyone is under some personal pressure and needs to be heard out of order, please make that known to the chair at this time. And seeing none, I will continue. You're before the board because you are planning to do something to your property that is not in conformance with the requirement of our zoning bylaws. There are 3 things that cause for you to come before this board. 1, to seek a variance for some dimensional relief. 2, a special permit to do something to your property. Or 3, to seek appeal against the decision of the building inspector. I've asked all board members to view the property and be prepared to make the decisions this evening, even if we have enough information presented at this hearing. Once the board has made its decision, the clerk will have 14 days to prepare the decision and get the decision to the town clerk to be stamped and filed as an official order. From the date the town clerk timestamps the decision, there's another 21 days during which time anyone who is not satisfied with the board's decision may appeal to the court. In this case, a judge will hear the case from the beginning, and acting in the first place, the judge will decide if the board's decision will stand. If at the end of the 21-day appeal period there is no appeal, the file with the town clerk, you may get a copy of the board's decision, time-stamped and by the town clerk, and you need to take that to the Salem Registry of Deeds and get it recorded with your deed of record. Once this is done, you will bring the decision, which now has a recording number, back to the Inspectional Services Department in Town Hall to request your permits. After completing the necessary paperwork and paying the necessary fees, the building inspector can issue your permit based on any conditions we put forward this evening. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Seeing none, at this time, I would like to ask anyone who wishes to speak this evening to be sworn in at one time. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. And I think I saw one person. Let's try that again. If you plan on speaking tonight, you have to be sworn in. If you don't want to follow me, then every time somebody comes up to the podium, I'll have to have the clerk swear you in, and that will just prolong the meeting. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. We're now being joined by our Special Town Counsel, Jesse Schomer. Jesse, Becky has a seat up beside her. Let's take care of some business first. Mr. Dwyer, I think you have a plan that we need to sign on, is it 9, I get my numbers mixed up, is it 999 Broadway or the Palumbo property? Jesse, yes, he is. No, that's all right. Doesn't matter.
Thank you. I have a question. Is this the Palumbo property?
Yes.
Because I didn't participate. I remember.
That's okay, sign this one.
You spelled it wrong. My name? Yeah. Have you know I need to?
Hold on, wait 1 second. We're not dating anything? 324, right?
6.
326, I'm sorry. You're welcome. All right, we have there's a couple of continued petitions. The first one being on the petition of V&V Saugus Realty LLC, owners of the property at 24 Broadway, lot number 156-158, plan number 1041, requesting a modification of the existing special permit, which allowed for the construction of a single-story, 5,000 square foot building with a more conforming 6-foot side back. This was approved by the board. There's a waiting period which abutters or others could appeal the issue in out of a sense of caution. The petition attorney felt like it could go on to March 30th, so he wanted to ask for an extension for this until next month before we simply dismiss it. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
let it reflect I'm not sitting on this one.
We need 4, Peter. Can you sit tonight? We're only doing a continuance.
It's just a continue.
I didn't sit on the other.
You were here for it, though. I mean, it's either that or,
Yeah.
we only have 4 tonight. There's nothing,
All right.
and it's only continuance. I'm not asking you to.
Okay. I'll vote as present.
We need the 4 votes, Peter. Jesse, what do you think?
Sorry, what was going, what question?
Peter didn't want to vote because you didn't sit on it originally, and I said we need the 4 votes. We only have 4 tonight, and then he said he'll vote as present, and I said, I don't think that's going to work.
As long as you have 3
Yes.
So as long as you have three, that's.
Yeah, you only need
for the
three.
continuance.
You say we only need 3?
You're
Okay.
good with three.
All right,
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for continuance.
all right, thank you. Becky?
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Travers?
Yes. Mr. Rossetti wants to say present.
Yeah.
You have that?
Okay.
Okay. So that passes to be continued to next month, 3-0. On the petition of Maria das Torres de Souza, owners of property of 32 Bennett Avenue, lot number 73, plan number 1036B, seeking a special permit to add a 14 by 1 by 4 foot addition, replacing a bulkhead with a full-size entrance and variance for a 4.7 side yard, setback where 15 is required. We did hear this. We gave the petitioner 60 days to take care of the ADU and remove it from the property, including the entrance coming in. Since then, Ms. D'Souza has obtained counsel, and that counsel asked for continuance until next month, so that they can just make themselves more aware of the situation. Do I have a motion?
Motion for a continuance.
Second.
Seconded. Becky?
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Travers?
Yes.
Becky?
And Mr. Rossetti?
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, hold on a second. I'm going to take 20 rear Bennett Highway out of order, just in case anyone's here on that issue. Sir, you having trouble hearing us? Is that it? It's the acoustics in the room, sir. I apologize. I'm talking about the 40B at 20 rear Bennett Highway. And just an update on that status. An attorney can be a little bit, I'll summarize it, but he can be a little bit more particular if anyone needs it. The Housing Court upheld our decision of a 5-0 vote to impose, please, no clapping, okay? To impose safe harbor, okay? That's so we're moving right along with that, all right? They upheld it. Now, the petitioner still has a 20-day period in which they can appeal that decision. And we have not, that 20 days isn't up, and we haven't heard whether or not yet that they'll appear. Attorney Sherman, have you heard anything on that?
Mr. Chair, I can confirm that I've spoken with the developer's counsel. He's advised me that his client is likely to appeal, but nothing has been filed as of today's date.
Okay. All right, so they can still appeal it, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right? But we're ahead of the game as for Hood Street residents and many people in the town of Saugus want. We're ahead of that decision. Yes? Can you come to the podium and just say you are and your date? Jesse, you know when the 20-day period started?
I do, yeah. Mr. Chairman, the last day for an appeal is April 7th.
So they have until April 7th where they can still appeal it.
Okay. And can they request a continuance on that, or
No,
that's the final date?
that's a strict deadline.
Okay. And how would we find out if they actually did file an appeal?
You can call Becky and Becky will know on April 7th whether or not they appealed. You'll inform her, Jesse, if you hear?
I will.
Okay? So on April 7th,
Okay.
we'll know whether or not they appeal it.
And if they file an appeal, what's the next protocol? It's brought up again in another meeting?
Well, they get to present their appeal to a housing, to,
The appeal, through you, Mr. Chairman, the appeal goes to the State Housing Appeals Committee. That process typically takes 6 to 9 months for it to play out. If the board prevails on its safe harbor claim, the matter will be remanded to the board. And then at that point, the board can decide whether to hear the project or to deny the project. If the developer prevails, the matter is remanded to the board for the public hearing to continue on the project. So we'll know in 6 to 9 months, I would say, roughly.
I know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the audience? Yes, sir. Your name and number, please. Name and address.
Giuseppe Mata, 23 Hood Street, Saugus, Mass. There was a covenant that we presented in the last meeting when we came, and we're not sure if any of that was discussed or deliberated between the attorneys, or if any of that yields any warrant.
I believe that presented that to you, Jesse.
We've received the covenant that Mr. Mata provided the copy of. We haven't analyzed it in detail because of the safe harbor claim. But if the project does come back before the board, we will take a close look at that and examine whether it's enforceable at this point.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
The preceding gentleman referred to a covenant, and there was a
Your,
covenant.
your name and address,
John
please.
Andriucci, Norman Road. He referred to a covenant, and the covenant did occur. But the covenant also included the words, "for the benefit of the town," which meant that at a succeeding meeting, the town meeting members voted to overturn or to negate the covenant. It surprised me because I had contacted a number of town meeting members, and I was assured that it would not pass, that they would not, it would not negate the covenant itself. And I wasn't quite sure there was a 2/3 or a majority vote at the time.
We'll deal, I don't think we're at that point to deal with that in the process yet. As Attorney Showman just explained, if the safe harbor, which means they can't build, the town's, okay? If we prevail on that,
Yeah, that's the ballgame.
okay?
My concern is with surprises occur because when the town
Well,
meeting,
and as Attorney Showman said, we'll deal with that when we get to that point. He'll examine that covenant a little bit more, and we'll go into the history, like you might know more than we know right now.
no, I was surprised with the outcome because I was assured that the town meeting members at the time weren't going to negate the covenant. It happened, and some people who told me directly that don't worry about a thing at the time. I didn't believe
That's going to have to be, we're going to have to explore that. We're just not at that point right now. I'm not trying to be quick with you or anything. We're just not at that point yet.
Just be aware.
I thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else from the audience? Any board members have any comments? All right, so we're going to continue this until next meeting when we'll have an answer on whether or not, on the appeal. Do I have a motion, as a form of motion? So moved as a motion that we will continue until the April 23rd, I believe, meeting.
I will second that motion.
Okay, Becky?
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Travers?
Yes. All right, now we're back to the order of the agenda. Okay. On the petition of Marcos Campos and Mayra Lopez Campos, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing the names properly, owners of property at 40 Lawndale Ave, lot number 139-1, plan number 3004, seeking a special permit to allow for reduced side and rear yard setbacks in order to construct a proposed shed to replace an existing shed. And the petitioner is here.
Yes, hi. My name is Dawan Campos. I'm
Good
representing
evening.
Marcos and
I
Myra.
do have a couple of questions myself, and the board may,
Yep.
I'll open it up to the board. Does the board have any questions first of the petitioner? Or you want me to get right into
My question's already answered when I went to see the applicant earlier this week.
what was that question, Mr. Riley?
Where the shed's going, the size, if it's going to block any windows.
Okay. Well, and you've been told by inspectional service you can't block any windows, correct?
Correct. I'm
And
not
the
gonna-
shed is going to be behind the fence?
Oh, so no. So what I'm gonna do, there's, I can show you on the plans. Right now, there's a fence there, and there's one leaf that goes like this. I'm actually gonna turn that one particular leaf and put the shed in there, and the shed is gonna act like a fence.
Well, it was somewhat confusing when I saw pictures.
Yeah, because I tried to do rendering through ChatGPT, and that's what they gave me. But the shed is actually going to go behind that window, so it's going to be about like.
Well, it can't go behind the window.
No, when I'm sorry, may not behind the
Further toward the rear of the yard.
the rear. It's going to go from the back here. It's going to cover a little bit of the corner here.
Is it going to be behind the fence?
Yes, it's behind. So
That's what I'm asking. The shed is going to be behind the fence?
behind the fence.
Okay.
So you understand, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm removing this
You're moving
particular
the
leaf.
Yeah, and
over here.
it says, is that the wooden platform?
So that's where the
I
shed
look
is
at the
going.
plot, well, that's in front of the fence.
That's where, so just so you understand, yes,
The
that's
wooden platform on the ground that I saw when I went to the house is in front of the fence.
correct, but that's just where I was building it, because I was just building it till I had the chance, once it was completed, I'm gonna move it back.
So that platform is going.
Well, that's where the shed, so,
It can't be on that side of the fence.
no, I understand, but what
So
I'm
you're
saying
gonna take
is.
that platform and move it to the other
Move
side
it
of
to
the fence?
yes, to the location of where the shed is going. But that platform is where the shed is gonna sit, but that's not where it's gonna stay. Does that make sense at all?
No. It's not gonna stay there?
Not where it currently is.
You're saying that the platform is going to become part of the shed, but the whole thing is going to move toward the rear of the
Towards the
backyard,
rear of the
such
property.
that it does not block any windows.
So such that it does not block any windows, correct. And then currently, there's a shed there, that's gonna be gone.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the wooden patio that shows on this plot plan is gonna be gone?
that's technically, yes, it's gonna be gone.
That's
because-
gonna be behind the fence, which the new shed's gonna sit on?
Exactly, correct.
Okay. My other question I had, I see a pergola in the backyard,
Yeah.
and I don't see that on the plot plan.
Yeah, I don't know why that was not placed in there, it's just showing the paved area, but that's on top of the paved area.
It says pavers patio, and then it says concrete block patio. Are you gonna say you saying the pergola is above the pavers patio?
Well, it's, technically, all of it is pavers, there's no concrete, it's all pavers. So but where it says concrete block patio, that's where the pergola is. And that pergola is like, I think 10 by 12. I'll have to verify, but roughly.
Mr.
So
Chairman,
there is no concrete block patio?
No, it's all pavers.
Well, this has to be corrected then. It's written as it being a concrete block patio there.
Yeah, well, but they're like just the square.
No,
they're
it has
different.
to be correct. It can't, if there's not going to be concrete block patio there, then it can't say concrete block patio. You're going to have the surveyor correct it.
Okay, I can have them
All right?
corrected. It's
And
just,
I want to see the structure on the plan. It's not on the plan right now. I don't know if, I really can't tell by reading this. I see existing lot coverage 26.4, and I can't tell you if that's correct. I don't know if that's correct, because I don't know what he's counting.
yeah.
He doesn't have to, if it doesn't have a roof above it, you don't have to count it. So if it's pavers and there's no roof above it, you don't have to count it. If it's a deck and there's no roof above it, you don't have to count it as lot coverage.
Yeah, so would the pergola? That's what I'm asking.
Underneath that has to be counted as lot coverage.
Underneath the pergola?
Yes, underneath that. Yes,
Okay.
all right? But the rest of it doesn't have to be counted as.
How about the shed?
So we need a
'Cause-
corrected plan for it not to say concrete block patio, just to say pavers all the way, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's just because I think he was a little confused because it's just two different types of pavers.
I understand. I know you're trying.
No, I'm just saying, because it's two different types of pavers there. That's why. It's one, that, where it says paver patio is one type of pavers, and then behind it, it was done later on, and it's a different type of pavers. They just don't match.
All right, but they're still pavers, they're not concrete blocks.
Yes, they're pavers.
All right, then they should be listed as pavers. But we have to get that number right on the existing lot coverage, because you're only allowed 25%. And based on the way this is, we can't, I'm not,
But, so I have a question, because that's, all like, that pergola is not like a fixed structure. So would that count? I'm just trying to understand it.
well, what is if it's not a fixed structure?
Well, it's a pergola. I mean,
Yeah, but it's in the ground.
yeah,
It is fixed, it's affixed to the ground, correct?
yeah, correct, yeah.
So
But
it's a fixed structure.
So I'm just trying to understand it, because like the shed, it's not like a foundation, it's just like on stilts, you know? It's like,
I understand that.
yeah, okay.
I just need the plot plan drawn properly, that it says all pavers, and where these structures are, and to make sure that 26.4, if that's a correct number. We need to know whether or not we have to give you a variance over the 25%. Based on an incorrect plot plan, we can't do that.
Sir, through you, Mr. Chairman, what's the size of the shed you want to build?
It's 8 by 12.
It's less than 200 square feet.
You don't need to come here. You don't need to come here for that shed.
That's what I thought.
He does need to come here for more than 25% coverage. He built,
But that's not what's in front of us. The building
but
inspector.
but we know that it's a zoning violation. He
But that-
he built something without having permit to it.
That may be, but we don't know that. But that's between the applicant and the building inspector. That's not what's in front of us. So we're not qualified to go and inspect what is or
We-
isn't on the site.
It's a required variance if it goes over 25%. A variance is required.
Then the building inspector would tell him that. But he hasn't put that in front
Well,
of us.
I can't approve this based on 26.4 when I don't believe that's the number.
Yeah, so I
I
was
don't
even-
think the number's right.
Yeah.
The plot plan is incorrect.
Okay,
Be
but
that as it may, whether the pergola is over or under the 25%, first, that's not a matter that's before this board. Second, if it is, it's still between the applicant and the building inspector. If the building inspector thinks it doesn't belong there, he can take that up with the applicant. We have no,
The building inspector put right on the application, other structures not shown on plot plan, asking us to deal with that. I had conversation with them. If you read it, it says right there, other
Yeah,
structures
I read it.
not shown on plot plan, so we have to deal with that.
Okay, then how about the shed?
What do you need to do? You need to get a corrected plot plan
Okay,
showing the correct,
okay, but then my question is now regarding the shed, because I was under the same
I'm
inspection.
not concerned with the shed. I'm more concerned with your lot coverage.
Okay, but. so
You
with
you didn't pull a permit when you built the pergola, when you built this, right?
The pergola?
Yeah, you didn't
No,
build.
I didn't, I was not under the impression that I
You
needed
need a permit
per-
for
the
anything you do to
pergola.
your property.
For anything, so like for a shed, even if it's under the.
You don't need it for the shed, you need it for that pergola. Yes, you do.
Okay, and
You
can I?
don't need it for the shed. It's less than 200 square feet. You can build it without a permit.
Okay, and then for the shed, okay, so I can build the shed. So what are you telling me? I can build the shed, but I need to get it corrected for the pergola.
Yes, we need a corrected plot plan showing where that the pavers and shows the pergola, that all structures are on the plot plan. And
Okay.
then to make sure that that number, that lot
lot
coverage
coverage
number
is correct.
is accurate.
Okay, so now, that's fine, that's perfectly fine. I'm more than happy to get that corrected and figured it out. But for the shed, can I build the shed? And would that would not count as lot coverage, or yes?
It would not cover as lot, it would not count, it's less than 200 square feet, we're not counted as lot coverage.
Okay, so that would not count as lot coverage.
No.
So I can build a shed, but I still have to come for a variance because of the pergola.
Yes,
Okay,
because you're over 25% lot coverage.
okay.
Oh, we can't tell that-
we
I
can't
can't
tell.
say
So
that you're not.
I would have to have him correct the plan, put the pergola
And he might
in.
come back and say it's only 24%.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea.
I don't know
I
right
don't know
now.
either. I'm not the one that did the plans, so I'm not quite sure. So I'll have him correct the plans and the variance, but for the matter of the shed, I can go ahead and build the shed.
You don't need to ask this board for permission to build that shed.
Okay,
It's
perfect.
under the permitted size by
Okay.
right.
But you need a variance because of lot
But I
coverage.
need a variance for the lot coverage because of the pergola.
Yes,
Okay, all right, perfect.
okay.
So,
So
so can I
I'll
have
leave the
can I
option
have
up
the
to you.
medium
We can-
continued for next
we
week?
can continue to next month and you can bring in a new plot plan?
Yeah, that's fine.
Does that sound good?
That sounds good to me.
All right, so that's what we'll do.
Okay, thank you very much.
If your surveyor has any issues, any questions, he can call Becky in
Okay.
the office. If
Okay.
she can't handle the questions, she can he can call me directly.
Okay, perfect.
Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Motion,
Could I have a motion to continue?
motion to continue, subject to
Sorry.
review plot plan.
Second the motion?
Becky?
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
No,
Mr. Travers?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Carries.
On the petition of, again, I apologize for names if I'm saying them incorrectly. Udine Ferreira owns a property at 104 Central Street, lot number 61-6, plan number 1031, seeking a variance and a special permit to add a 14 by 32 accessory dwelling unit with a front side back of 8.5 where 20 is required on a lot with an existing single-family home. And I see the petition's here, and Mr. Dwyer's here for the petition.
Yep. Mr. Chairman, I'm
Thank you, Peter.
David Dwyer, 59 Appleton Street, representing Mr. Fiera and his wife Monica, who wish to, seeking to construct a detached ADU under the Mass State law, having a proposed setback of 8.5 feet from Seville Street where 20 is required. I also point out that the proposed structure will be located 23.9 feet from the existing curb on Seville Street with no existing sidewalk in front of the structure. The proposed accessory structure will meet the setback of 20.4 feet from Seminole Street, which is undeveloped to the right of where we're proposing this ADU. The primary dwelling finished floor area is 1855, allowing an ADU to have the maximum allowable floor area by state law. The proposed ADU is 2 stories, a finished floor area of 896 square feet, meeting the limit of the 900 square feet. The proposed accessory structure will not exceed the 20 feet in height based on the accessory structure zoning requirement. The hardships of the lot are lot shape. The lot is long and narrow, bounded to the south by the Saugus River, and having 14,284 square feet is calculated. The soil conditions, and I'm sure you've seen it, there is the rear of the proposed structure is abutting an area with evidence of ledge. And then the topography, which is certainly the biggest issue on this, that the rear of the proposed structure is pushed back into a steep slope. The proposed location is also as far away from the Saugus River as in the floodplain area that covers the backyard of the existing, the primary structure. Therefore limiting the possibility of construction to where it is proposed today. Approval by the Conservation Commission will be required prior to building permit issuance due to the jurisdiction line according to the Rivers Protection Act is 200 feet from the river, so that completely covers it. If this board votes to approve anything tonight, the next step would be to go to Conservation for a notice of intent and order of conditions. I can
All
also
right.
state that I submitted this plan before I was here last month, where I asked for a 10.2. I immediately told my clients that I was denied on 10.2 on Golden Hills Road and pushed back. So we're prepared to talk tonight about moving this back as much as possible to get into that slope. It was just a concern with that slope. It probably changes in grade over 10 feet and 20 feet. It's pretty steep.
Well, I can say certainly with looking at the property, I can see the constraints the petitioner has, both with everything that you mentioned, the ledge back there, and you have to go to conservation, you're saying also?
Yes.
If we go back a couple of feet, is that going to make any much of a difference, do you think? Or?
I talked with my clients prior to the meeting starting tonight, and we're willing to go, possibly 11 feet back.
Okay.
It still leaves a pretty good front yard because there is no sidewalk there. The sidewalks are on the opposite side of Seville Street. The walk that's built in front of the primary residence was installed by the owners there.
One thing that I did notice was a very busy lot. I saw the 2 construction trailers, 2 RVs, and a car parked up on the sidewalk. And that was during the middle of the day, so I don't know what it's like. I don't know where you're parking at night when when everybody's home.
I've talked to my clients about that, and one of the RVs is only temporary there. It's leaving tomorrow to go to Campus World. It's a friend of his who needed just a place to put it until he was taking it tomorrow.
Okay.
We're also, if this goes through, he's going to work on getting the trailers there somewhere else. Obviously, we can't have them all there with.
Yeah, you can't have all that on that lot.
Right.
Any comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Rossetti?
I seem to recall that this area had a serious flooding problem. If you put this in, granted it's on the kind of uphill side of things, but are you making any provisions for that?
So it has had flooding issues down there, and I know that the state or the town came in and put in some additional drainage, which I think has alleviated some of that. One of the reasons for where we're placing this proposed ADU is it's outside of the floodplain, so it's up, it's graded higher there. and it's as far away from the Saugus River as possible for us to fit on this lot.
Okay, as the chair said, it is an extremely busy street, and it acts as kind of a cut-through for people coming from Lynn and heading down Central Street. So while I was there, there was an awful lot of traffic going up and down the street. I know there's no parking requirement for the ADU, but
Well, I kind of question that, Mr. Rossetti, just because there isn't a parking requirement when you're on a bus line. But I know that, I've mentioned this to Mr. Dwyer, I don't know if this is considered to be the bus line. I know the bus line isn't that far away.
Yeah, the 4:30 bus turns off of Central onto Appleton and goes by my office many
Okay,
times.
so it's definitely in walkable distance, so then that would, but common sense says it'd be a good idea to have some parking there, I think.
Yeah, with the length of the length of frontage on Seville Street, there's plenty of room for parking there. The primary residence, so you can see on my plan, the driveway is on the opposite side of the house from where we're proposing the ADU. The existing driveway.
Another issue that I did discuss with the building commissioner, and he's the one who brought this up, was just the fact that it's not a family ADU, so you're required to have two entrances. And as he said, he's the one who suggested it, he would probably recommend that perhaps these entrances were in the rear and to the side, instead of from the front of the property, to make it look like two single-family houses on that lot, if that's a possibility. Is that something that you could work with, two entrances, one being on the side and one being to the rear?
The access to the rear, because of the slope behind us, is almost going to be impossible.
Okay.
So we could possibly do one at the front on one end, and then certainly the other one would be on the side. So
Okay.
it wouldn't even look like a duplex. If you had two in the front, it would look like a duplex. So I think I was on the site today, and we were walking around talking about what his layout for the house would be. And the side that's closest to Seminole Street, he's planning on a door on that side, and then a front door over towards the primary residence.
Okay. All right, any more questions from the board?
Yeah, can you tell us about that door? What's the height of the door? Is it on a foundation? Is there a little porch? Is there a stairway that goes towards the street?
So we talked about that today. It would be at grade, so he would just have a concrete pad there for the front door.
So there wouldn't be steps there bringing it closer to the street?
No, he's going to try to come one step up in from just a concrete landing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Petitioner want to add something?
So, I'm sorry. My name is Monica Lima
Okay.
from 104 7th Street. So what we are thinking, to do the first floor and the second floor, do the bedrooms and a door going out. So that will be like another door, just in case, like,
Well, you're required to have two doors.
yeah. So that will be like additional door as well, like, just in case, and it,
I think
And, you know-
what she's getting at is a door from the second floor out to the rear,
yeah.
because that wouldn't.
The second
Yeah,
floor?
so this is going to be pushed back into that slope, so your rear wall will have no windows. It may be poured concrete and graded up to the back. And that also gets you 20 feet because it's average grade.
Okay. So there would be, you're saying there is going to be a door coming out the back and one on the side?
The rear.
Is that what you're saying? So,
So one on the back.
Sorry, hi, Eugene Ferreira from 104 Seville. So basically, our layout will be, actually, it's going to be three doors. a main front
You
door.
don't need three, you only need
No,
two. And
but I'm
it's
saying-
900 square feet, you don't need to put 3 doors in, that will even,
No, I understand, but because by the time we put the second floor, literally, we're gonna be on top of that ledge. So
Okay.
literally, we can just walk out on top of the ledge. So,
Okay.
and so it will be another mean of egress. But on the first floor, we're gonna have the main entry and one door on the side. So, answer your question, will be a plenty mean of egress.
what do you really need that front door then? If you have 2 others, you need that front door. I think you'd be better off without it, it'd give you more wall space.
True, true.
It's 900 square feet, it's pretty small.
So, right now, they have a footprint. They don't have an architect as of
Okay.
yet to draw this up, based on, we're trying to find out what we can do. And then the architect will do that to building code. So whatever
Yeah, this
is
is,
required to building code.
this is why, this was a suggestion to the building commissioner, that if you kept away from a front door and did one on the side into the rear. That was his suggestion, I didn't bring it up. But if you're saying that it's gonna be out a second story to the rear, and then there's one on the side, there's no need to have a front door. If you got, then you'd have 3 doors there, you got no wall space. And I know you still gotta talk to an architect.
Yes.
But I think you want to try to work it with 2 doors, one being in the side, one being in the back, if that can be done. Do I have any more questions from the
I
board?
have no questions, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Rossetti, Mr. Riley?
So where is the parking going to go, even though you're on a bus line?
The proposed parking, when we were on the site today, it would be on the Seminole Street side, where that side door would come out. So somebody would park there and then come in.
Towards where the 2 construction trailers are now?
Yes.
Did
So
you
that-
see the 2 construction trailers?
Yeah, I got the pictures of
So-
it. So that's only, what, 1 parking spot wide, right?
It's 20 feet from Seminole Street. So 99's 18 if you were doing parallel parking now.
Okay, so 20 feet.
Yeah, that's the side setback there. I think it's 20.4.
So, yeah, so it's 20 feet wide, and it's only 1 car deep.
Correct.
And you said you were looking to go how far back? 11 feet from
What's
the
that?
street? You're looking to go how far back from the street?
We talked about it today, and we think 11 feet will get us back, not too far. If we went to 15, we would be into the ledge and the slope. So the
Why don't you go
stakes,
with your, I recommend go with your original plan, and what was it, 10 feet, 4 inches, or whatever? Why don't we go with that?
well, we were at 8.5.
Yeah, but then you said you were at 10 feet at one point, weren't you?
We can go whatever the board wishes. We don't want to go too far back.
Why don't we go with 10 feet? Is that okay, Mr. Riley?
I
Yes.
mean, I'd say it's a borderline thing. I went to see it, I saw the ledge, I know what you're up against there. I understand it, but if this were a family unit, I'd say yes, but it's not a family unit. I don't know that, there's not a hardship here. It's an apartment for rent, right?
Well, there is.
Essentially.
There is,
Right.
we meet all 3 hardships based on the soil conditions, topography, and lot shape. So those are the hardships. It's not a hardship of, now, are they gonna have a family member live in that? Very possibly. But it's not a
Possibly.
family ADU based upon the town of Saugus regulations. So
yeah.
it's a state ADU.
What I'm thinking about, in my mind, it goes to whether it's more detrimental to the neighborhood or not. And if my neighbor puts an apartment in their front yard, to me, that's more detrimental. The further back it goes, the less detrimental it is. So I understand you have practical constraints about what it will take to build further back.
Mr. Riley, that's why we speak with the building commission, we were talking about no front door. So it didn't look like. the aesthetic appeal didn't appear to be 2 units there.
Okay, so that's a mitigation, sure.
Yeah,
And that's helpful, but it's still really close to the street. To me, the further back you can go, the better.
Would the board be amenable to 11 feet?
I'm amenable to that, yeah. Everybody else agree with that, 11 feet? Peter, what-
Yeah, 11 feet is better than 8.5.
And try to work the 2 doors in the rear and to the side.
Yeah, the rear entrance, is there gonna be like a deck or something, and they walk off that?
Yeah, so because of the slope this thing is getting pushed into,
Yeah,
the second floor in the rear is almost going to be a walkout.
okay. Okay, just trying to envision that, I didn't think the slope was all that steep. So it would be, there has to be something spanning it.
It's a wall. It's a wall,
Right, so
Peter.
you'd pour,
It's a wall.
and I'm not a contractor, Nay is, but, you know, we're talking about pouring a higher wall in the rear so it can be backfilled up to it,
Yeah.
and that takes out the height as well.
Okay.
Because we're limited on 20 feet to the peak
Yeah.
for height.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty steep, Peter.
Yeah, I call it more than just being a steep, it's a wall.
I don't think I'd go that far. Okay.
Any other questions from the board? I don't think there's anyone in the audience with any questions. Okay, well, what's the board want to do?
Motion to close the hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded.
And somebody want to read it?
All right. Wait a minute. Okay, on the petition of Udinini, is that how you say it?
Eugenie, yep.
Udini, Ferrara, owner of property, 104 Seville Street, lots 615-6, Plan 1031, seeking a variance and special permit to add a 14 by 32 accessory dwelling unit, ADU, with a front setback of 11 feet where 20 is required on a lot with an existing single-family home. And grounds for the variance would be the topography. Well, you want to do the special permit first?
Yeah, do the special.
Okay, special permit first. Grounds for the special permit would be no more detrimental to the neighborhood because of putting the door to the ADU, doors to the ADU on the side, and it would be the side where the house is, as opposed to the other side. The house side and in the rear of the property. So, that would
Okay.
be it for the
Do I have a
special
second to
permit.
the special permit?
Second.
Becky?
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Travers?
Yes.
Okay, on the variance, the grounds for the variance would be the topography, the soil conditions, it's a wet area, it's got flooding in the area, and it also has a lot of ledge. And the shape of the lot, it's a long, thin lot, with a significant elevation changes over the span of the lot.
Do I have a second on the variance?
Second.
Becky?
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Travers?
Yes. You're all set?
Thank you. I will prepare a new plan showing it at 11 feet back
Okay,
and get that over to Becky.
yes.
Okay? Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
And
Should have handed that out before the meeting.
Thank you, Peter. I'll be